Oh, there's no sound. Okay, let me try this again. 4 minutes without sound. Let's try this again. Okay. Okay. Um, am I on now? Yes, happy Wednesday. Okay, I see y'all laughing at me. Well, I said hello to everybody, and we went that it's very much what they refer to as a pregnant pause. But it wasn't even a pregnant pause because I hadn't started to begin with. So, but what's I'm always morbidly curious about is how do you get along so well for up to 10 minutes where I forgot to turn the microphone on? It's been up to 10 minutes and you all seem like you have a better time without me than you have with me. I was actually scrolling through and saying hi to everybody before I realized there was no sound. So anyway, now we have sound. Yes, and we can go on again. So oh boy. I mean, how long has it been and I'm still starting without sound? I just barrened all over the place. Anyway, welcome one and all. Welcome to the live chat. Welcome to Royal Sussex. Oh, thank you, Lydia. I'm so glad y'all could hear me. Oh, I mean, I'm just okay. Anyway, that's enough of all that who shot John. There's no need for a long story from me. You all already know what happened. I'm still getting used to this technology. And sometimes I miss the target. That's all. I well, at this point I feel like I should. So let's talk about it then. So I know you all have seen the photos, but here in the Sussex squad, we do not trade photos of the Duke and Duchess of Sussex. And I know there are some people on Twitter who have shown photos of the Sussexes out on the town. What's particularly worrisome about this is because, as far as I know, this is the first time that that particular agency that trades in that kind of stuff managed to, you know, get the big prize. And so the good thing is that the mainstream media is not sharing it just yet. Even Page Six, I don't normally see Page Six, so I know Page Six shared some photos of the Duchess and Archie that time, which was horrific to see all over, the social media. So I think that there is probably a bit of a hesitation by most media outlets to share those photos, and that's a good thing. And I want you guys to look at this as a positive instead of a negative. At least things are changing. I see fewer and fewer of those like I guess anti-Sussex so-called royal experts and authors and such. I see fewer and fewer of them on American television. I may be wrong about that because I don't watch a lot of those morning shows and stuff. So if you have noticed that, just say so in the comments because I'm curious to know if it's just me. And so okay, there's that. So I think that the message from the Sussexes has actually been received by the American media. Don't, or at least from the Sussex squad, don't deal with these people because they have an end for the Sussexes. And also, I want to believe that some of these paparazzi photos that people have been trying to trade with, you know, agencies like the one that have those photos, that for some reason they're hesitant to share them because I've heard that there's more out there that has not been shared. So we did see a photo at Christmas time, and of course they blamed the Duchess of Sussex for that, right? And I was just like, oh my God. So now you got Duchess Doolittle traveling. And if these photos somehow become a thing, who do you think they're going to blame for that? Who do you think they will blame? They'll say that it was all orchestrated and that it was set up. And that's the extent of my concern. And you're right. They should be able to eat dinner in peace. Absolutely. Um, I haven't seen a Star or Inquirer magazine in ages. So I don't know what the current atmosphere is for these American tabloids. I don't know how they're operating right now. There's enough stuff online that the traditional tabloid papers, they don't really have as much reach. So I'm thinking, oh, is that right, Connie? Yeah, I'm thinking that something has changed. So oh, are they? I have not seen that, Lydia. I have not seen that. Yeah, so maybe these lawsuits are making a difference. Maybe there are people who are just waking up and smelling the coffee finally that these things will not be tolerated or they're just simply not welcome. Hello, B10 pal. You're at work? Just give support a little. Well, thank you, B10 pal. And of course, we all miss you here on the squad, but there's work to be done and you're there to do it. So if you can't chat back and forth with us, that is totally cool. That we know you're there, that is amazing. So thank you for taking some time to say hello. But yeah, so that's all I'm going to say about that is that we're not going to share those photos, and I know there's some people on Twitter who have shared them. And I have mixed feelings about people on Twitter sharing it because, on the one hand, I understand that there's a curiosity there, and that knowing that the Duchess of Sussex is living her best life, and that Harry has a family connection like that. And of course, they're going to blame I'm sorry, Eugenie as well, having that connection like that. Just like the other day when I mentioned that that whatever his the guy that won the Guinness Book of Records for biking or whatever. Well, he mentioned that he and Harry and the wives were having play dates with the children. Well, thank God for that, that we know that there's a normal life for him. I mean, we don't want to know too much, obviously. Obviously. So um maybe I'm saying what everybody else is thinking, or if you think I got this completely wrong, then so be it. But um, I just want to know that they're happy. I don't need to see them every day, but it's a great relief to know that they're living their best life in Montecito. They have a community where people are mostly very protective of them. That's a good thing. Okay. And then, okay, there's one more thing. Um, one of those celebrities. I'm sorry, I'm a failure at names, and I didn't make a note of it because I really didn't care so much. But I'm just thinking about it now. Oh yeah, yeah, yeah. The one that had the oh, the guy from oh, I forget the show. Anyway, they were saying that one of the hottest things in California right now is that celebrities are leaving LA and moving to Montecito. Montecito has been put on the map. It has been put on the map. And I'm not going to go out on a limb and say, oh, these people just want to be close to Harry and Meghan. But they have definitely highlighted the community. And so far there has not been any complaints of any real merit from people in the community. And when I say of merit, I mean because um the tabloids would love to tell you that everybody hates them, and there are people trying to push that narrative, and it's not holding water. It's not holding water. So um let it suffice to say they're living their best life, and no matter how we know about it, it's out there and it's known. and we're happy for them. So we could just leave it at that. And as for the people who have shared the photos on Twitter, some of you all may be in the live chat right now. No judgment, no hate. You have to, use your best judgment, especially if their photos are malicious. But I don't even think that anyone on Twitter who has shared photos would share stuff that would be painful or malicious to the Sussexes. So there you have it. We all look at this stuff differently. Like I said, the photo of Archie and Meghan walking to the school that day, that it was like someone had kicked me in the stomach. Okay. There was nothing enjoyable about that because uh, even people I don't like, when there's an assumption of privacy, I'm really bothered when photos starts to pop up. So let's see. I'm so sad. GK, another Sussex podcast, has deleted her whole channel. GK, I'm not sure who that is. I don't know who that is, but if it's a Sussex friendly channel, I'm very sorry to hear that. Hi, Patricia Nixon. I'm glad you're joining us at work listening. But yeah, the GK channel, can you enlighten me? I don't know who that is. Oh, so you must have enjoyed the other day when I was making my own side hurt. Let me see. Duchess Meghan can move if Kate has something to do. Not Harry or Eugenie, just Meghan. Yeah. And maybe the whole thing of having that out there at this time was to try to embarrass the Duchess of Sussex. I mean, I haven't ruled that out. But yeah, it's out there. And so it is what it is. Let me see, big bag. An event. However, when the Duchess of Sussex wore a beautiful one to Ireland, they had a pearl necklace pull. Okay, let me see. I'm scrolling back a little bit. Yeah, I'm sick and tired of being sick and tired with these tabloids. Please leave them alone. Why are they tabloids still so obsessed? Just like the other day with that story about the Trojan whatever school in Birmingham, the only way they could sell that story was to include the Duchess of Sussex. I mean, Europe may be on the brink of war right now, and the only thing they could think about is throwing the Sussexes in there. Yeah, they really need to make up their minds, relevant or irrelevant. Want to see them, then spy from a distance, especially when the tabloids are following them. Yeah, from what I've seen, I think it was probably a valet parker. Now remember, there are some people in Los Angeles that have been instructed, if this happens or that happens, send us whatever you got. Like the thing where Jay-Z and Solange were in the elevator. That was obviously someone using their cell phone to record that video and then share it on well, actually share it with whatever tabloid news service, and then that's how it made it to the mainstream public. When the Sussexes were taking the food to people during the pandemic, same thing. That was surveillance footage that was released. So those kind of things, it's a breach of privacy. There is a possibility that someone can be sued for that, and it's just really in bad taste, because where there's an assumption of privacy, leave people alone. We all are, or should I say, we should all have an assumption of privacy if we're in a locker room or a public bathroom, or even if we're out to dinner, there should be an assumption of privacy where people are left alone. Now, if I jump up and spit up blood across the room like that scene in Downton Abbey, okay, then that may be newsworthy. That, maybe I just spit out my spleen or something like that. That may be newsworthy. But if I'm just dining, what is the story there? I'm dining. I'm dining. Okay. um, the majority of us are too nosy and will pursue the internet to find photos of the couple. The pretend groups are super curious, no trust. Yeah, I get that. I get that. Okay. We need to support the Duchess of Impact channel more, even more now. I just saw a video. She just, well, you know what? I tell you what, I will make it a point to add that to the community tab. So I didn't actually see that video, but I know one that has come out recently. So I have included that on the community tab before, and I'll do that again. So I'll make sure that I share the Duchess of Impact because yeah, there's a lot of just straightforward factual information there that all of us need to observe just to because I'll say I probably don't cover enough of the very finer details with a daily upload. It's a great place to have a sense of community, but sometimes you don't have the most fine-tuned receipts when you're doing a daily upload. So that's when the Duchess of Impact comes in, is that the Duchess of Impact definitely gives you receipts, receipts, receipts. It's like a way to for us to remind ourselves exactly where the focus should be, and that is on the Duke and Duchess of Sussex. So I'm all for that, and I will definitely share that in the community tab. And as per usual, if I don't, remind me in the comments. Already, oh yeah, I I think that that's more of a gossip thing. Um, I can't even speak those words, but I think that's just more of a gossip thing. I couldn't imagine any of the tabloids. Um, the very few that actually seen, I don't think that that's something that they would say. Okay, yeah, let's support all of these platforms. We have to support all of the platforms. The more voices we have, the stronger the community is. Anyway, I need to get to my slides because it has been 21 minutes already, and I wasted like 5 minutes doing my mime impersonation. So there we have it. Jason Lee. I don't know this Jason Lee person, but hats off to his barber. Whoever's doing his fade is massively talented, okay? Queen Elizabeth II alive. Rumors of her death denied. Yes, absolutely. The Queen is very much still alive. London Bridge has not fallen. The Queen is somewhere right now betting on racehorses, um, probably, I guess, assembling and disassembling her Glock or whatever it is she has. I'm pretty sure that she is doing what she usually fills her day with, or perhaps somebody's, working on her corn rolls right now. The Queen is fine. The Queen is fine. She's got the best of everything. There's no denying that. So, um, Gangsta Gan will be here for next Christmas. I'm sure of that. In spite of at what people are saying, um, health wise, I don't think there's anything inconsistent with where her mother was at this time. So be prepared to get at least 102 years out of this monarch. I can see that easily happening. She may not be as active in public right now, but she's still there. She's still there, and she's still having lengthy conversations with her beloved Philip. Philip, is that you, Philip? Yes, she's still having those lengthy conversations with Philip. The real benefit is he's not likely to talk back to her. So, I believe there was some type of apology Now, I don't know what the difference is between Jason Lee, who I had never heard of before this, and this Hollywood Unlocked. I don't know if it's one and the same. I don't know if he's like one of their people, but it appears as though there has been some type of apology. Okay. And with that being said, uh, I'm gonna zoom in close to this so I can see it. Our deepest apologies go out to the royal family and all involved in this embarrassing situation. It was an accident, and we're working hard to make sure that this mistake never happens again. The intern journalist was misinformed and published the draft post by mistake. Okay? Signed HU, Hollywood Unlocked. So that was that. So I'm assuming that Jason Lee is one of their people, one of their peeps. I don't know. Hollywood Unlocked issued this apology. So I don't know if there's any daylight between Jason Lee and Hollywood Unlocked. I don't know if that's one and the same or if he's a correspondent for them. I don't know. I don't know. But I just know that that apology came out about maybe 8, 9, 10 o'clock this morning sometime. So obviously, as the royal family has said for years, we are not amused. They are not amused by this at all. Um, uh, so, Patricia Lane, I'm sorry. What is this you have for me? The Sussex Squaddies, good afternoon from Florida. Enjoying your impersonations, Baron. I love when you say, Philip! Philip! Oh. Yes, and I do get sick of it sometimes. So yeah, that was my other thing. I don't remember where I got the sick of it from. Um, I can, you know what? I can't share the story that someone had told me about where they had yelled at someone, and yeah, I think it evolved from there. So, but yeah, I can't really share the story at this time, but it was a doozy. Maybe I will one day. Okay. Jason Lee and Hollywood Unlock did that on purpose to get their names out there. Pretty smart. Marshar, you are absolutely right about that. At the time, I was thinking, even though this may appear to be some type of embarrassment, um, at first I'm thinking, okay, they made an educated guess, assuming that, oh, she missed a couple engagements. Obviously, she's gone. And then, of course, that's when the cynicism kicked in. Oh, this seems like a great opportunity to big oneself up on the world stage or the, internet or whatever. And where that's concerned, yeah, this is probably a good idea. I mean, we have a former president of the United States that is celebrating an invasion of another country right now because nobody's paying attention to him. And he knows that if he says the most outrageous thing, that people will suddenly look his way. It's not really working because he's no longer as relevant as he was before. He was more relevant before he came president than his post presidency because people are just sick of him. Do you hear me? Sick! They're sick of him. So he has to say the most outrageous things to get people to pay attention to him. So it is definitely a possibility that they were trying to big themselves up like that. Video is loaded with duplicious okay, FFK releasing mental health info to billions and to third party sharing. Are you talking about that thing with Kate and Williams charity or whatever? Okay, the leakage is not only coming from the house since 2018. Now, what is FFK? I'm so sorry. Sometimes I When I see it broken down like that, I'm like, huh? Yeah. Okay. Um, clarify that for me, please. Jason Lee has been as guest many times on the Wendy Williams show. You know, the name seemed familiar to me, but I just wasn't sure where I'd seen him before, heard of him before. Post a story about the royal family without checking to see if it was accurate. Where have I heard this before? True. I was thinking about Meghan and Harry regarding the pictures at the restaurant. I don't think they should sue, although the pictures were taken without them knowing it. Well, to be fair, whoever took the photos were outside. They were not inside. They were dining outside and, one of those things. And I guess that you have to assume that if you're in that area of the country, that people are on the payroll or people, have been told, if you can this, I can do that. Okay. And so to me, it looked like whoever the valet parker or someone working the door or even a diner, someone leaving the restaurant may have caught a glimpse. But from the angles of the photo, it seemed like someone who works at the restaurant. And, you know, it may have been more than one person that have taken those photos. It could have been more than one photo. And truthfully, I'm just going to say this. I'm surprised that since Eugenie is obviously in California, I'm surprised that there's not more photos because surely, and I'm not telling anybody anything that somebody hadn't already thought of, surely people were camped out hoping and praying for an opportunity like this. So I'm surprised that there hasn't been more. I'm really shocked by that. It just goes to show you, though, that there's no leaks in Montecito, that they have probably been coming and going and doing other things, maybe out shopping or whatever at the playground, and nobody was any the wiser. So things are pretty tight for the Sussexes there, where they have a circle of trust around them, including with their neighbors. Otherwise, there would have been more of this, not less. And plus, they have a pretty large estate where they can have plenty outdoor time and activities without even leaving the front door. So there's that. And yeah, so I'm just surprised. I'm relieved. I'm glad that there's no, like big scene or something like that. So this was an innocent dinner. Again, I believe we should respect a person's assumption of privacy, and thank God it's not more than that. And then there may have been some photos that were just flat out refused because they were just way too dangerous to share for the person who doesn't want to be sued. Karen, Baron, can you do another similar thing to the Ginger Avenger? As much as we love it, my granddaughter, who is 23, plays whenever she comes. She said won't stop until it's 20,000. I love it. Yes, I got to do something for the Duchess of Sussex, and I will. I'm just waiting for that right, I guess, inspiration to hit me because she has so many photos. It took me hours to put those photos together because I wanted to set just the right mood. And because Harry is so photogenic, and of course, the Duchess of Sussex is more than equal to the task. I wouldn't know where to start. I don't know where to start. Baron and everyone, this is my first ever live chat. I am loving it, and I love your impersonation of the Queen. Lovely. I'm glad you're enjoying it today. Let's continue to support Ivy's posts and the Duchess of Impact. I never stopped because they are very informative. Thank you for your support. Annie Bullard, I fell in love with Ivy like from the start. As soon as I heard her podcast, I was like, who is this? And you know what I found out? Hello, Ivy here. I mean, Ivy is just everything to me. You know that. As much as I love doing this, if I had a choice, I'd rather listen to Ivy. I would rather listen to Ivy. because Ivy just she takes me to another level of understanding. Okay, I don't think they should sue either. They live in California, many paparazzi everywhere, so this can happen. Newsweek is all about gossip, so they are also making up stories to get people talking bad. Yes, yes, that's true. I mean, they do live in LA, and it's one of the things that just happens there. So I don't think that the photos were actually from a paparazzi. I think it was just an opportunist that just happened to be at that restaurant at the time. Um, the quality is not that great, so and it is what it is. So let's just be grateful that Eugenie has been there for possibly a week, 2 weeks, and this is all there is. And let's hope that that's as far as it goes. Is that fair to everyone? Let's just hope this is as far as it goes. Outing at a public restaurant. It was sad to hear Liz saying that, as you see, I cannot move. Yeah, that was very, very sad. I imagine they're carrying her like furniture to place her in front of guests. Um, well, they said that the queen had a strained back some time ago, and I accept that as being exactly what it is. And so when she said that she can't move, yes, she's known for her self-deprecating humor. I have to be seen to be believed and that sort of thing. So she's her jovial self. So when people are ready to write her off, I think that they're moving way too fast with that. She seems to otherwise be in okay, but um she shouldn't have to work at all. And another Sussex podcast explained the whole thing of Regency. And if you guys have missed that, it was absolutely brilliant. She explained the idea of Regency and why they can't actually say that the Queen is unable to work, because it would imply that there needs to be a council of state or two or three or four, and that there may be a possibility that a regency is needed. In other words, the person who showed up the other day and coughed and sneezed and snot and blew and hacked and all that kind of stuff all over her that got her sick in the first place. I'm not saying it was Charles, but I'm not saying it. Okay, I'm not saying that. Okay, you guys, I'm not about to start with my I'm not and that's not, because I think I overdid that the other day. But I'm not saying it. And so if they mention that she's incapacitated, then that may require them to examine this idea of having a regency. And that would actually be more jarring to people than just saying that she has a reduced schedule. I'm sorry, schedule. On that side of the Atlantic is a schedule. On this side is a schedule. Okay, so I hope that makes sense to you. Let's see. Yes, winning the dress of the year. Winning the dress of the year. We spoke about that yesterday. I'm going to jump off the topic for just a second here, but yes, the dress of the year, the Armani dress of the year. Yep, as they say, she was causing it. Yeah. And then this one right here, Daily Pop, she said the same thing happened to her at a restaurant before, and while she was there, the restaurant notified the paparazzi, the reporter to, yeah, that happens all the time in LA. That happens all the time. Hence my theory about the valet parker or the person at the door, the whoever works the register, whatever. Somebody at the restaurant, it may have been a patron of the restaurant who tipped who took the photos and then sent them in and received cash for it. So the photos are not the most intimate photos that one can have while out in public. So I'm not as upset about it as somebody walking with their child. That is awful. There were no children involved. Okay. There were no children involved. So I'm just trying to say to you all, don't be so upset as if this was like those other photos that were in page 6 that day. That was horrible. This is just what it is. It's not involving children. They were not at home. They weren't coming and going from their house or anything like that. So there are some things that we can be glad about. And we know that the Sussexes are living their best life. So someone in this restaurant decided to cash in. And I don't even know where the restaurant is or anything like that. I didn't even research or none of that stuff. I didn't care. But the fact that the Duchess of Sussex, the Duke of Sussex are living their best life, that's all I care about. I'm happy to she's Meghan smiling and Harry laughing his butt off. What better way to show Shutter Island and the royal family that they are unbothered? Absolutely, Marshar. Absolutely. Yeah, I mean, that's let's take something positive for this. Let's take something positive. Let's not make it as sinister as a woman walking her child into school or something like that. Yeah. And you know what? Again, I have to say, let's just face the fact. This is something that they have been working on for a long time, and there is so little material out there that we should be grateful that the Sussex's neighbors, that the greater community, that the city officials, there's so many people around them have been more protective than have sold them out. They are doing incredibly well. So while a lot of people are wringing their hands, how could this happen? Again, try to look at the positive side because as bad as this may seem, it could be much worse. Queen is not dead. How come they're not drugged her out of the sick bed for display? Well, well, I have to say this, Cheryl. If you remember, they had those photos of the Queen supposedly seen on the Windsor estate driving around. When from examination, you could see that the photos look virtually identical to photos that were used a year or two before that. So, if they wanted to push that narrative, they could come up with anything, and most people will believe it. So, it doesn't matter that they don't show her. Harry doesn't mess with untrustworthy friends. Before Meghan came on the scene, he dropped a number of pals he'd found out snitching to the press. Bellissima, there's two things about that I'll share. Number one is true. Harry had some friends that were snitching, and those friends felt more loyal to his brother. These were people that were somewhat mutual friends or who decided to kiss up to his brother because, his brother is the future king. And that's the issue for Harry over in Narnia is that sometimes people will fall all over themselves to support this guy, even though he's supposed to be your friend, right? The other thing is, um, I believe there is still a lawsuit pending uh, about the phone hacking. And Harry and William found out that friends that they thought were, I guess, betraying them were actually friends who were being hacked. They were hacking people's phones. And if I remember, one of Harry's girlfriends, they had hacked her phone and found out, very intimate details about her life, about how she felt about Harry. And this is like one of the tabloids that did that. So there's two parts to that. There's the ones who actually were working against Harry, and then there were ones that were being hacked who unknown to them, the information was taken out of their phone. So let's say if you were out with Harry and you say to someone, "Oh, I was out. I'm going to meet H, for this or that for lunch next week," and all of a sudden the cameras are there. That friend did not sell him out. His phone or her phone was hacked, And so what they may have just said in passing conversation to their parents or to whomever turns into a paparazzi hit job. So there's two parts to that. It could go either way or have gone either way. And so let's not assume that everybody who Harry has lost contact with is someone who's done them in. It could have been that. And unfortunately for Harry and for William, some of the people that they let go, they found out, may not have done anything wrong in the first place, but the relationship had already been ruined. The suspicion was already there. So um, I feel bad for anyone who hadn't done anything but just, say something in passing, and then all of a sudden, it has become this big spread in the tabloid. But that can and will happen. Okay. Hi, Church Nelly. Well, hi, Cookies and Cream. Cookies and Cream wants to say hello to everyone, so I'll leave that there for a second. And then this one, anybody wonder why Eugenie is in California just before Randy Andy's lawyers announced the settlement? Maybe she knew it was coming out and needed to get away from the heartbreak. Yeah, that's possible. I mean, it was said that train wreck interview, um, one or both of the daughters, it was said, it was alleged that one or both of the daughters thought this was a good idea. Somebody thought this was a good idea. Someone in his circle of trust thought that, oh, you should just go on television and explain yourself. And he did. And it was an absolute nightmare. It's hard to watch. It's just like, ugh, it's cringeworthy. Although I have to tell you, it was one of my best days since Christmas when I saw that, because I couldn't believe it, and yet I was a bit amused by it. I'm not gonna lie to you. She's our head of state. The people have a right to know if she's capable for whatever reason, and it would make sense to have the council regency kick in until she's better. Yeah, I mean that should happen, but one of the things that people cited was the fact that given who the Council of State is these days, you have someone who's living abroad. You have this person on the screen who is, you know, a real pariah, if you like. And then of course Charles and his whole cash for honors thing. So maybe it's better that we just pretend that she's improving and that she's okay, whether or not we know that to be true. Maybe it's better for everybody involved. And I'm not trying to help them, but it makes sense to me. It's probably just better for everybody. Okay, God's indiscriminate grace, mercy, and love for all mankind is the reason he determines final judgment decisions. The monarchy will lose. Well, thank you for sharing that, Geraldine White. Okay, so I think I'm just about caught up. Let me go to the next slide. This ominous photo, the reason why I'm sharing this, you won't believe it. Yes, you will, because I'm just being shady. I'm just being shady. I mean, this is the stuff of nightmares. This will definitely keep you up at night. If I was like a little child and this was on a 65-inch television, I would avert my eyes to the other direction. This is almost Disney-esque in terror. So I'm just absolutely being shady by sharing this photo. Anytime I share this photo, y'all know I'm being shady. Either that or I'm trying to turn someone into a pillar of salt. But yeah, this is when I'm just being shady. So don't pay attention to that. Let's see. We need to talk about Shout. Okay, we talked about that yesterday, but we can talk about it some more if there's anything that you want to share. They sold people's private information and should be sued. Why would they remove the statement of keeping the calls confidential from the website? Oh, Rochelle, I didn't know that. So they took the statement of keeping the calls confidential from their website. Again, an assumption of privacy. An assumption of privacy. Everybody has an assumption of privacy. And especially if you're calling an agency like Shout, right? Because you may have thoughts that are alarming to you and people in your life, and you want to try to work things out, and then only to find out that these text conversations have been sold to third parties. That is disturbing on so many levels. And so while the Duchess of Doolittle is over there, I guess, terrorizing the nation of Denmark with her, hyena face, then uh, let me see, give a shout out. We need the metadata. Let me see. The Zimbabwean ex-partner of Harry, her info was leaked about her. Yes, Lil Rock, that's just what I was talking about. That's just what I was talking about. And yeah, and they were like trying to figure out if she had some kind of STD or something like that. It was awful. It was awful. And let's just assume if it wasn't for the tabloids, maybe things may have gone further with that relationship. But after something like that, I mean, they literally almost Carolyn flacked her. That's what I call it, a Carolyn flack. They almost Carolyn flacked her. That's what they were trying to do. And then they will try to be contrite for about 5 minutes. And then as soon as they think that the heat is gone, then they'll go right back and find another person to humiliate on the airways. So yeah, thank you. I was referring to that, but I did not put it as clear as that. So thank you for putting it into sharper focus. I appreciate that. Um, yeah, it's something about being 96 years old that will do that to a person. So I think, did she just turn 96? That will definitely happen when you're 96 years old. It is a long and slow decline, but again, she will have the best of care up until that point, and there's no reason to believe that she won't live as long as her mother lived. So, or longer than Philip. So that's a possibility too. Okay, so back to this one. The royal, a right royal mess. Deportation flights carrying criminals to Jamaica is canceled until after William and Kate's visit to the Caribbean to avoid raising tension and overshadowing high profile tour. Well, first of all, I'm going to take exception to the idea that they're calling people on those flights criminals. We don't know anything about those people. And this is the same tabloid paper that tried to destroy the women of the Hub Kitchen. So when you see them using terms like criminals regarding nameless, faceless people, beware because they may actually, have it all wrong and likely have it all wrong. But in order to make this okay with the British public, they have to other those people. They have been othered. So um, I don't like it. I think it's in very bad taste. The Windrush scandal is something that is going to persist. Now, I was going to talk about this later, but I'll talk about it now. With this royal tour that the Duchess of Cambridge is on right now, there has been, I guess, a bit of controversy because Kensington Palace is working very, very hard to protect her from obvious questions about, um, her very weird uncle and his case in the U.S. courts. And so Kensington Palace has somewhat threatened the press over in Denmark, which they cannot control, they told the Danish press corps that if you ask any questions, and we do mean any questions, about that situation with her weird uncle in law, that you will be removed or that you will be asked to leave. And so, Celebritty, .com, I listen to them on the YouTube all the time. Well, in one of the articles on their webpage, they discussed this whole thing about how they're trying to intimidate the press over in Denmark so that they don't ask any tough questions. Well, to me, it makes sense because believe me, if you ask her a tough question, it's at your own peril. Because by the time she responds, you're going to start doubting yourself whether or not you understand the English language, whether or not she actually answered the question. I mean, to put her on the spot to answer a question, it will harm you. It's going to hurt you worse than it hurts her. I'm serious. Don't ask her a question because if you ask her a question, we remember what happened when they asked her if she was excited to see Lily Diana. I'm still not sure what was said. So don't ask her a question unless you want to be completely baffled and confused, and if unless you want to be disorientated by her aura. Yeah, okay. um just don't ask her a question. You will do yourself peril. um you'll do yourself in if you ask her a question. So save yourself. Just give her a free pass, let her go back to Narnia unscathed, and you'll be okay. Because I'm telling you, if you ask her a question, she's gonna mumble out something. She's gonna throw her head back. She's gonna grin like a hyena, and you still won't get the answer. And you may suffer some cognitive, um, you know, residual effects. So I'm okay that they don't ask her a question. It's for everybody's benefit. So that being said, that is what's happening is that they and if that's happening here, believe me, when they get over to the Caribbean, it is going to be more of the same. Kensington Palace is going to go into overload to try to avoid any situation where they will ask a question. The strongest thing that they could do for her is to simply let her interact with children, people on her own level, people who she can, like, try to sort things out and use that child initiative thing that she thinks she made up. That's the strongest thing they could do for her. Again, I'm not trying to help anybody. I'm just saying that makes sense for her. That will help her. Um, but let's just get into this. So I'm assuming that we're okay with everything about the Windrush because we've talked about it like every day. And the only thing that I have to say about this is that I'm really not comfortable with the idea of them saying carrying criminals. But then again, that's Lord Nappyhead's paper. And so, even though some people say that that's where his part of his DNA originates is Jamaica, I mean, via Africa, or Africa via Jamaica. Even though some people are saying that's part of his DNA, for whatever reason, his paper is slamming the people of Jamaica, I think, by using this headline because it's just another way to other people. And I hate that. I hate a bully. Um, I'm telling you, the world is better off without that, but suit yourself. Suit yourself. If they ask her no questions, we'll be okay. I mean, we're already trying to figure out what Havana syndrome is, right? Have you heard of that? where people suddenly get these headaches and become disorientated for some unknown reason, and they still haven't exactly figured out what Havana syndrome's original source is. Well, the same thing can be said about asking her a question. You may come down with some type of debilitating, unseen, smellless, tasteless, odorless, disorientating effect that you can't explain. And that is called asking the Duchess of Cambridge a logical question. And unless you want that to happen, leave it alone. Leave that girl alone. Don't ask her nothing. Let her play with the children, the Lego blocks, and all that other stuff that's more important than the fact that Europe is on the brink of war. Because if you ask her a question, you're going to have two things to devastate this week. That is the idea that there may be a war and that we all have become suddenly disorientated for some unknown reason. But I'm telling you, while I'm still able to address it, the reason will be we heard her reply to a question. That's what the reason is, okay? So while I can mistake while I still have all my faculties, I'm trying to help you understand. Don't ask her a question. When people ask her a question, it's like everything at Kensington Palace stops. It's like, you know how in the submarines where the red light is flashing and the whole alarm and everything. Whoop, whoop, whoop. That's what happens at Kensington Palace when somebody asks a question and then everybody starts scurrying around like ants. What happened? What happened? Somebody asked the Duchess of Cambridge a question. Oh my God. How did that happen? Didn't they get the memo? So you think you want that to happen, but trust me, you don't want the Duchess of Cambridge to answer a question. It will be to everyone's peril. If we want the Earth to stop rotating on its axis, ask her a question. If not, let's just move on and go to the next topic, shall we? So it says right here, there's absolutely is no Botox or filler. Now, someone on the Twitter, not myself, although it kind of looks like one of my memes, but I didn't do it. But someone on Twitter decided to talk about the elephant in the room, or shall I say, the syringe in the room. It appears to be a more natural, relaxed look on the left side, and then on the right side, everything is as tight as a net's behind. I mean, everything has been pulled or cinched or whatever, or there may have been the use of filler. Now, the last time someone implied that there was some type of intervention, I believe that Kensington Palace threatened to sue. I think that was published somewhere. So I cannot confirm or deny. I have no knowledge of it. Yes, there's a startling difference in her appearance. The one with the red, on, she looks one way, and the one that isn't, she looks another way. Nobody knows. But I'm only just getting started. I'm only just getting started. Hello, Black Queen. Hello, Ronnie. Got some people just joined us, I think. Gwendolyn Daniels, as I see, Francilia Mosley, Anastasia Isabella is here. Welcome. Let me see. Then is good. She's taking a break for her well-being. Okay. Let's see what else here. The Danish photographers are trolling Katie because they did not airbrush the second day photo of Katie. Okay, so let's get to that, shall we? Let's get to that. Okay, this is what I had laid out first. Now, if you look at the tweet there, it says, it wouldn't matter if she didn't use her title. This is no Duchess. This is Meghan Markle play acting for the cameras as usual. Do you guys remember that? Do you all remember that? And thank you to the person on Twitter who brought this receipt today. Thank you. Actually, you know what? I brought it today. I didn't put it on Twitter. I was actually looking for a photo of the Duchess of Sussex to do the comparison. Look at me thanking somebody for something I actually had did myself. Sometimes I do that. Okay, so I was the one who found this. It wasn't on Twitter, but I think I'm going to add it to Twitter later just to make my point. But okay, so there you can see the way that she was treated by some people on Twitter back in the day. So I didn't blur that out. This was actually like that when I looked through Google for the photo. And thank you for that, Little Rock. And then if you take a look here, what is she doing? Is she just happened to be in Copenhagen or wherever they are in Denmark? Is she just happened to be there and just happened to show up in, full drag? She's got her whole face and everything done, and she just happens to be at the Lego Information Center, and she just happened to slide down the slide, hands, jazz hands first. She got a jazz hands. Even on something like an amusement thing like that, she has to go and do the whole Bob Fosse thing. But yeah, there goes the jazz hands. And so she's jazz handing, she's grinning like a hyena. All of the classic Kate playing for the cameras. So when the Duchess of Sussex went on the Ellen show to do what so many other celebrities have done as an Ellen show tradition, there was something that was just not right about that because, they said she used her titles. In this situation, it is perfectly okay for Kate, the Duchess of Cambridge, to go jazz handing her way. And it took a long time for her to get down, right? I looked at the video. It took her a month of Sundays before she actually shot out the bottom. I understand why. Because she was doing the jazz. she the jazz the jazz hands slowed her down. Does she know that you're supposed to have your hands over your head or tightly to your side when you go down the slide? Did anybody tell her that? Apparently, she didn't know. So, next thing you know, she's at the entrance and suddenly, whee, Bob Fosse. She just jazz hands her way all the way down. And it took an unusual amount of time from where her head disappeared at the top and then she flew out of there at the bottom. I'm just saying, I'm not trying. Well, yes, I am trying to be petty. But yeah, it was all that jazz. What is that, Black Queen? No wonder Katie mumbles a lot. Her face is stretched so tightly, her jawbone might just crack and fly straight through her mouth and nostrils. Black Queen. I have another theory, and I'm going to just share it with you. So you all put your devices on mute or whatever, so only Black Queen can hear this. I think that beneath those layers of extensions, there's a big zip tie pulling everything back. I really believe there is a zip tie that is holding everything in place. And if that zip tie ever like snaps while she's out in public, then we'll see the real Duchess of Cambridge. But yeah, she's using a zip tie. So now this one I did get from the Twitter. Someone, you remember I shared that black and white photo the other day. So someone decided to share it again. Practice makes perfect. Well done, Kate. I I mean, she was literally, there was like this incredible, the whole trip, she's been very reserved, grinning, but not really comfortable. But it was something about being on that slide that just brought out her fun side. God bless her. So, this is what someone just mentioned, is that the second day photos were not airbrushed. I know some of y'all are having lunch right now, but the second day photos were not airbrushed. This is what that whoever that was that said that. This is what you were talking about, I'm assuming. They were not airbrushed. And now when I saw these, I kind of felt sorry for her. I felt just a little sad for her because she is absolutely out of her element. She is uncomfortable, she's very tense. And where is the body language experts? And this is why I'm being very petty, because there are hundreds of videos out there where people have literally picked the Duchess of Sussex apart. And while I have not been instructed by anyone from Montecito to say the things that I say, I'm taking it upon myself to say it because I think it's unfair that there's these body language experts that day after day after day after day try to tell you that Meghan demonstrates narcissism, a bully, and she's this and that. Well, here we have all this evidence that someone has been pushed into the limelight at a very young age by a very domineering mother, the air hostess, for something that she was probably the least capable of being, a duchess and princess of the realm. Because the look of horror on her face at the idea that she has to interact in front of cameras, that she's afraid that someone is going to ask her a question, not more afraid than I am, but she's afraid that somebody's going to ask her a question. And they just ignore that. The tabloid press ignore that. They will quote the body language experts in reference to the Duchess of Sussex, but they will not use the quotes from Twitter and from Instagram and from the tabloid, or should I say, the body language experts. They ignore that. This is a woman who is obviously on the edge. Anybody could look at her face and they could see that she's on the edge. Yeah, they don't, Mo Shannon. They are not the least bit interested in um, following up on anything I just said. They are going to ignore this because nobody cares. I'm sure most people in the UK don't even know she left the country. I'm sure most people have no clue that she's even out of the country, let alone that she's over there splitting logs and playing with Lego blocks. Now, that being said, I'm sure they're not surprised that she's over there playing with Lego blocks, but I'm sure that nobody cares. Cosplay Queen is trying to be playful and relatable. I recall the toxic SNR was trotted out to say it was embarrassing to see Meghan behaving that foolishly on the Ellen show. And it was some squatties, Lil Rock, who didn't like it either. But for me, I was so glad that Meghan was secure enough in herself that she could go out there and have fun, interact with Ellen the way so many other people have. Everybody knows what the gimmicks of the Ellen show is. And the Duchess of Sussex didn't just need to be there, she wanted to be there. Ellen is her neighbor, Ellen is her friend. Ellen is someone whose values are in alignment with that of the Sussexes. And so, because of that, the Duchess of Sussex didn't hesitate to go on her show. You know, Ellen needs people as much as anybody else. And I'm sure it was mutually agreed, you know, through their friendship, hey, would you like to do the show? Sure. And that was it. I'm sure there was no hesitation, no rules, no I'm not gonna's, you know, you can ask me questions if you like. There was none of that stuff. So, Dickie Arbiter, Dickie, Uncle Dickie, Dickie, the father of the liar, Arbiter. Dickie and his daughter the liar. They're both liars. Victoria, the liar. Dickie, the liar. Ingrid Seward, the liar. All of those, and let's not forget, what is it, Robert or Richard Fitzsimmons, another known liar. I don't even have to throw allegedly in there. I can just flat out say they're liars. And the reason I can say they're liars is because they got caught in a massive lie thanks to some YouTube pranksters. I don't have to allege anything because it is proven a person who tells lies has a reputation as a liar. They lied and they were caught on camera lying. What do you think about the Harry and Meghan interview? We know you haven't seen it, but tell us, that's what they paid them to lie. And I hope that none of these people ever appear on American television again. I don't know that they have, but they were caught in a lie. Dickie is the father of a liar, and he himself is a liar. They both lie. And I just don't want to let this moment go by without saying that he's a liar. It's about time that Duchess of Cambridge was recognized as a workhorse and not a clothes horse. It doesn't matter what she's wearing. What's important is what she's doing and why. She's in Denmark, says Dickie. Dickie says she's in Denmark. So Uncle Dickie decided to take everyone to task to make them take serious this Duchess, this princess of the realm, this future queen. We all should, stop doing what we're doing and pay attention to her because suddenly she's actually very serious about her work. Well, she looks serious to me. Oh, oh, good. Oh, good. Good. Thank you for that. Thank you. Okay. Well, good. I'm glad for that, and thank you for sharing that, Avery J. I love when you guys come in with some breaking news. So I'm definitely going to have to do some research on that. But thank you so much for sharing that. But and yes, there is no surprise there. There's going to be more lawsuits. There are going to be more lawsuits. That I'm sure of. So, where was it? Oh, Dickie's a liar. Did I tell y'all Dickie is a liar? Yeah. Dickie Arbiter and his daughter, he's taught her well. They have been known to lie. They lie. No alleged. They were caught in a lie because they are liars. Um yeah. Yeah, they can get people seriously hurt. Um Good Morning America is gone. This AM, their big story was Duchess Kate shows fun side in solo visit to Denmark. Yeah, they will do that in exchange for access. We know that they will cover the mediocre Middletons or the Duchess mediocre Middleton because there's some type of agreement there that we're not supposed to know about. Um, okay. Next slide. So here's a little evidence I want to share. Look at how uncomfortable she is. Like I said, I almost feel sorry for her. She seems to be a bit disorientated, not sure how to react. Um, the photo on the left side, this is without the hyena face. This is the face that usually scours the hallways of any building looking for relevancy. And then the face on the right, still not really smiling. She doesn't seem to be very pleased. And look at the body language. Let me just be a body language expert. I certainly can't do any worse. Um, if you notice, the hands are clasped, which is not unusual for her. The hands are clasped because she's not comfortable. She's not happy. She's not pleased. She doesn't want to be there. And obviously, the reason her hands are clasped is because she's incredibly uncomfortable right now. She's incredibly uncomfortable. The camera doesn't lie. Out of the thousands of photos and video that is taken of her all the time, the cameras do not lie. The cameras are telling it just like it is. And it is what it is. She's incredibly sad, uncomfortable. If you've seen the video, the Queen of Denmark, Marguerite, she had to pull her back in place because Kate was ready to wander out the door when she saw the cameras. I'm not making this up. That really did happen. Kate was prepared to exit when she saw the cameras. Okay, so I see it right here. Breaking Prince Harry has launched a high court libel action against the publishers of Daily Mail. It's not known which specific title or article the claim relates to. Okay, I just see that big blaring headline right here. So I'm going to take a little peek through Twitter to see if I can find anything else. So I'm looking at Omid. Omid Scobie usually is like first out the gate with stuff. Um, let's see. Expect further detail of Harry's libel action against um, ANL, which I think is Associated News, the parent company of the Daily Mail, owned by Lord Nappyhead, over coming weeks as documents filed with the British High Court become available to the public. So what he's saying is right now, we know that there is a lawsuit. We just don't know exactly which article or articles it's related to. Oh boy, but let's let our imaginations run away, shall we? But I'm going to do a screenshot of what Omid just put here, and I'll share it with you guys very soon. Well, isn't that a coinky dink? So there will be a lawsuit, and nobody should be surprised about that. And in regards to the idea of her being a workhorse, Anastasia Isabella, yeah, the idea that she's a workhorse, that is very unlikely because she rarely works. We've seen more of her keening to do stuff recently than we have for a very long time because she literally does not work, and they find excuses for her to not make herself available. So calling her a workhorse would almost seem offensive, but it would really be a compliment if she was actually working. But this is work for her, is standing there looking puzzled and confused, and then suddenly grasping her hands and locking her feet together in a way that is incredibly uncomfortable. But the thing is, you guys, I'm not even done yet. Let's see. Richard Fitzgerald was once pro Meghan against the evil half sister, calling her pure poison. Funny how these chameleons don't waste any time. One of the pranksters' name was Archie. I love that. What, Lil Rock, you are on top of this. You are on top of this. Thank you for that. So, okay, there's this. I did not write this. I didn't post this, but I did strip it off of the Twitter. I did strip it from the Twitter. So the first photo on the left, why is she walking in front if Mary, walking in front, well, it should be in front of Mary. Mary is higher than her in rank. She should follow protocol and walk in a step behind Mary, or at least walk alongside her. She is so rude. Oh, if that was the Duchess of Sussex, if that was the Duchess of Sussex, I should just call this channel If That Was the Duchess of Sussex. I mean, really, I should just rename this channel If That Was the Duchess of Sussex, because we all know how that would play out. We all know how that would play out. They always say that Kate doesn't put a foot wrong. The truth is, she gets a lot of things wrong, but they never say anything about it, at least not anymore, because they have someone else they can pick on. But Kate messes up stuff all the time, and her way out of it is to grin. If she can just grin enough, then nobody will notice that I have overstepped the mark or done something wrong. That is, her way of dealing with mistakes is just grin her way through it. But I don't even know if that's true or not. So I'm going to be totally fair and say I don't know that there is a protocol in those situations. But um, the thing is, Kate is not the next queen, and the other girl, she is the next queen. So perhaps there is a protocol since the other one is known as a crown princess. So this is from Omid Scobie. You can see it for yourself. The third one, the news follows Mail Online. Recent breaking several stories about Harry ongoing efforts to fund police protection while in the UK. In January 2021, the Duke settled a defamation that is suit against the same paper over false stories about his relationship with the armed forces. So I'm going to assume that that's what it is that it has something to do with this police protection thing because the timing is so close. And if you guys remember, Harry did suddenly come out with a press release no sooner than it was leaked. Remember, they leaked the thing about the offer to pay for police protection. And since that leak, obviously Harry has decided, or should I say, possibly have decided to file suit against them. I mean, and it makes sense. It makes sense given the timing. That's probably what it is that it has to do with that because someone leaked that information about the whole thing of Harry receiving protection from, I guess, civil servants or whatever receiving protection from them or peace officers, royal protection officers, however you want to address them. And of course, he was told that it wasn't possible. So Harry said nothing about it. Harry was not trying to make this into some type of public debate. The way this became a public thing is because somebody leaked that information to the press. I don't know, I guess to embarrass Harry or to try to make good the idea that he should not return by making it public. Whatever it was, Harry was made to feel unsafe. And so yeah, like the Harry's response to serendipitous timing of that leak. But as I have been saying for a long time, and you heard it here first. You know what I'm going to say, right? The calls are coming from inside the house. The calls are coming from inside the house. Dan Wooten Tootin, or that Wooten Tootin Dan Wooten, remember he said on his little radio thing there, address the fact the negativity toward them. Oh, let me do it in his voice. Address the fact that the negativity towards them is coming from within the royal family. It's coming from inside the house. Oh, that guy is just so creepy. God, I can't stand him. He's just so creepy. Okay, so your comments. Practice how to work for 20 years now. She's putting what she's learned into practice. Surprisingly, she's just copying Meghan. Isn't that the truth? Isn't that the truth? I hear you, Mo Shannon. They are coming from inside the house. Um, Kate did something for women while in Denmark, yet her sister in law was being bullied with her help. She did nothing. Hmm. So the second one there, you can see at the top it says face of Danish queen looking at hyena laughter. Ouch. Ouch. Uh-huh. I was just sharing what I saw on Twitter. I know some of y'all ain't on Twitter, so I thought I would share that. Um, that was the alleged reaction. I don't think she's actually queen yet. I think she's actually the crown princess. Or did Queen Marguerite step down? I don't think did Marguerite step down? I can't remember. Um, the queen is dead. They sent William to Dubai. The mastermind, Camilla. Charles went to mom to twist her arm to get queen consort. And let me see, demolish Andrew, taking his title, but promised to pay fee for Andrew. Okay, well, that's you said a lot there. I'm not sure which parts of that is absolutely true. I can't confirm or deny those, but we're all trying to sort this out. That is true. We're all trying to sort this out. Um, is Church Nelly being messy? That is so unlike Church Nelly. Um, oh, that is so unlike Church Nelly to be messy. What has happened? Avery, the Danes still have mutual respect for Alexandra, even though she is divorced from Prince Joachim. Oh, okay. I didn't know they were divorced. Baron, have you been on this battle since 2016? No details how I went through the barrage of insults defending our faves. No Twitter, Insta, Facebook, Tumblr, etc. I only listen to pro Sussex channels, no gimmicks. Well, you know what? I didn't know that there was much of a battle until 2018. I didn't know that there was much of a battle. And even then, let me see. I want to say I started listening to Tina and Michelle. I guess it was 2018. I don't remember when I started listening to them. I just know that in 2021, no, I'm sorry, 2020, I attempted to establish a channel, and after about 4 videos, couldn't really wrap my brain around it, and so then last spring is when I decided to really, take the time I had during the pandemic to make some things happen. So, I didn't even know that I just knew that there was negative headlines every day, especially during her pregnancy, and I remember, feeling the anxiety, and somehow I found Tina and Michelle. I can't even tell you when that happened, but somehow I found them. And since that time, you know, I I pretty much stuck to Tina and Michelle. Oh, I almost forgot about hello. What's well, I don't even want to say his name, but yeah, that other channel. I remember watching that. I watched that channel first, and then I realized that he was going over to the dark side. And so when Trump made his visit and he got a little overly excited about it, I decided to unfollow him, right? And I want to say I found Tina and Michelle after that. So 2018-ish, I think, is when I started like watching the channels on YouTube. Before that, I was mostly dependent upon the Facebook channels. And as I said, hello, oh hello, turned out to be a huge disappointment. Hello. Oh, anyway, I'm glad I don't have to hear that anymore. Hello. And of course, anyway, never. I'm not even going to talk about him. But so yeah, that's kind of how my the way that I evolved into the squad. And so yeah, Twitter. Um, I'm afraid of getting in trouble on Twitter, so I don't post a lot. Because it's just so easy to let things get away from you. So I try to to govern my myself as much as I can. And that's where you guys come in because I try to gauge your reactions to know how much is too much because it's just easy to get carried away And I don't want to lose my channel. I don't want to lose my Twitter, Instagram. If you guys have followed me on Instagram, you notice I don't do much with that either. So William will never be king. Charles has put all the money into trust fund for his stepchildren. Charles shows William how to attack his brother Harry through example. Bail bond, I don't think there's any way to get around that. Charles will be king and then William will be king. How long Charles is on the throne is debatable because I think that somebody somehow has been trying to shame him away from his birthright. And, you know, but then again, maybe there's some type of royal patent that we don't know about from Gangsta Gan, but I find that unlikely because if some royal patent pops up after she passes away, then that's going to cause a lot of suspicion. So, um, who knows? It's a real a Game of Thrones or whatever, and we won't know until such time. Duchess Meghan is the choice chose the golden child. What God has planned for Meghan, no man or royal family can dim her light. That is so true, Marcy Foreman, and thank you for reminding us that. Okay, hello. Oh, I got to stop that. Once I start doing something like that, y'all know I have a problem stopping. So this is the statement from Prince Harry. I apologize that the text is very small. Prince Harry inherited a security risk at birth for life. He remains sixth in line to the throne, served 2 tours of combat duty in Afghanistan, and in recent years, his family has been subject to well documented neo Nazi and extremist threats. While his role within the institution has changed, his profile as a member of the royal family has not, nor has the threat to him and his family. The Duke and Duchess of Sussex personally fund a private security team for their family, yet the security cannot replicate the necessary police protection needed whilst in the United Kingdom. In the absence of such protection, Prince Harry and his family are unable to return to his home. The Duke first offered to pay personally for UK police protection for himself and his family in January of 2020 at Sandringham. The offer was dismissed. He remains willing to cover the cost of security as not to impose on the British taxpayers. As is widely known, others have left public office and have an inherited threat risk receive police protection at no cost to them. The goal for Prince Harry has been simple to ensure the safety of himself and his family while in the UK so his children can know his home country. During his last visit to the United Kingdom in 2021, to unveil a statue in honor of his late mother, his security was compromised due to the absence of police protection whilst leaving a charity event. After another attempt at negotiation was also rejected, he sought a judicial review in September 2021 to challenge the decision, making him a security making behind the security procedures. I think it was behind the yeah, okay. I think that's a typo. In the hopes that this could be reevaluated for obvious and necessary protection required. The UK will always be Prince Harry's home and the country he wants his wife and children to be safe in. With the lack of police protection comes to great a personal risk. Again, I think that's a typo. Prince Harry hopes that his petition, after close to 2 years of pleas for security in the UK, will resolve this situation. It is due to a leak in the UK tabloids with serendipitous timing. We feel it necessary to release a statement setting the facts straight. So obviously, that leak bothered Harry enough that it is possible that, as mentioned at the bottom here, the news follows the Mail on Sunday's recent breaking several stories about Harry's ongoing efforts to fund police protection. While in the UK in January 2021, the Duke settled a defamation suit against the same paper over false stories about his relationship with the armed forces. Oh, yeah, I remember he was hot about that. So there you have it. I believe it's exactly what Omid Scobie said there at the bottom. It's likely to do with the police protection because that is the first and most important threat against the Sussexes from the tabloids right now is that that leak could definitely serve to compromise his safety when and if he and his family ever return to the UK. So there you have it. This is why I follow Omid because a lot of stuff like that, when I need to know something is true in terms of like some press release or something like that, sometimes people in the squad may take a headline from who knows where and plaster it out there. No offense to the squad, but just plaster it out there without anything really being that official. And so for me, it saves a lot of research time just to, verify it by checking Omid's page and then taking it from there. Um, so whether you guys like Omid or not, that is how I depend upon him. Is because certain things, like when someone says, "Oh, there's some breaking news," that's the easiest way for me to verify it is to go there. And just for the record, you guys, Omid, as far as I know, he hasn't said anything about the photos from the night out. He hasn't mentioned it, and I don't think he shared any photos from it. So I know some of y'all see him as the enemy, but keep your friends close and keep your enemies closer. That's all I can say. Okay, so there's another one. Okay, this one I won't double check because that sounds logical and there's really nothing threatening about the Sussexes there. So the newspaper are going to make them rich. All they have to do is to keep lying on them and he keep taking them to court. Yeah, yeah. They not only are they going to make them rich by the lawsuits, but these attacks are only going to serve to bolster the image of the Sussexes because, I mean, really, don't we all hate a bully? So back to my slides. God, I cannot believe I have been on for an hour and 41 minutes. I cannot believe I've been on for an hour and 41 minutes. It is crazy that so much time has gone by. I mean, did somebody roofie me or what? What have I been talking about for an hour and 41 minutes? Nonstop. I have no clue. What have I been talking about all this time? Um, I didn't say, well, okay. I hope I didn't say too much. So the hyena grin and 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 more grins and more grins. So to the people of Denmark, you have my condolences because you all are being terrorized by a runaway hyena as I speak. Enjoy. Enjoy. Okay. And then the other day, I was thinking about one of my least favorite people in the world. Some of y'all may have seen this in the community tab. She's another one that's a complete liar, and I'm sick of her. I'm just sick. Do you hear me? Sick! I'm sick of her. And as I have compared her to Easter Island so many times, I thought I would just take a little license with her image and, see how she really fits in amongst those gigantic hard heads, those long hard heads. And this is what I found. I found her to be wanting in her character. Not only that, but I also found that she looks very much like one of those Easter Island heads. So yeah, it's official. It's official. I am going to need some DNA. If somebody can like secure one of those hair follicles or perhaps some saliva, then we can make this official. Okay? That's it for that. Yeah, fits right in. Fits right in. Um, you know how they say that's the long and the short of it? There's no short, it's just all long. Um, yeah, yeah. Like I said, I'm very, very you went there. You went there. I'm very dependent on Omid Scobie for such things. Let's see. Yes, but William and the Middletons are fighting Charles too with the Met Police. These people, I still say, are the root behind the hate of the Duchess Meghan. Yeah, yeah, it just makes sense. I mean, who stands to gain? Yeah, all you have to do is just figure out exactly who stands to gain. So yesterday I did a second video because I forgot to speak about this. And then when it dawned on me, I said, well, I just go back later and address it. Why does America's smuggest newspapers have such a pathological loathing for Britain? Um, gosh, what is that channel that I just mentioned? What is it, Novara Media? They had a podcast about that today, actually, where they spoke about this whole thing about them being hostile toward the American press and how anyway, if you get a chance, they spoke about this today about how they got so out of joint. Should I say their noses got out of joint because of the story about the Trojan school or something like that. In case you don't know, someone leaked a letter to the police, actually to a school in Birmingham. That letter was forwarded to the police. The police decided where there's smoke, there must be fire. So they decided to launch an investigation into the school because surely if there are people of color, check, Muslim, check. Some are for most of them are like first generation or second generation, check, 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 check. All of the boxes needed to drum up a scandal were there. And so this letter, they never did prove anything from the letter, but it targeted 3 or 4 schools that, or should I say, the letter was a hoax that targeted 3 or 4 schools that they said were going to turn into something like a Sharia law Islamic state within the city of Birmingham. They were going to use those schools to plant the seeds of Islam in children and Sharia law. And next thing you know, they're going to do all of these things that these gross characterizations that we find on the television. This was coming to Birmingham. And so, how does the Duchess of Sussex fit into this? The truth is, I still don't know. I still don't understand why she's involved. Why is her photo there? Why is she in this story? It makes no sense. Okay, I've said it before. No one on this planet or any other can convince me that Diana was not murdered because of her involvement with a Muslim. Harry married a black woman. He is in no better shape. Well, Sonia Johnson, I hear you, and I don't disagree with you at all. I don't know it to be true, but I am open to the possibility of anything you just said. I don't know something is untrue until I know better. So until then, that is what has been said. Some people have reported that. And I believe even Diana herself said that it was a problem that she was seeing a Muslim. And so, because of the fear of others, people carry on this whole like fear of anything that they don't understand. It's just like the way they used to do the Chinese and the Japanese. That there's something exotic and rare and mysterious about them, and they can just look at us and cause our blood to boil. And or they know some secret way to do away with us, or that's the stuff that conjures up in people's heads. And it's no different for, people in the Caribbean. Everybody has to be into voodoo and mysticism. They People run away with these characterizations, and so these schools were supposed to turn into a madrasa, or some type of Sharia law state within Birmingham. I mean, give it a rest. That is the same reason why those women at the Hub Kitchen had their lives threatened, is because of this whole type of Islamophobia that seems to be all over Britain. And before that, it was the fear of Indians. Anybody from India was supposed to have some secret powers of persuasion and something in that spice in the food. I can't stop eating it, but they're killing us with it. I mean, it's always some type of mystery. It's always some hidden agenda. Don't you think that the indigenous people of other lands felt the same way when they looked up and all of a sudden, here come all these white people on the ships with the fire sticks? That's what some indigenous people called guns, fire sticks. They didn't understand how that stick could have some projectile that would go right through me. They didn't understand that. Don't you think they were afraid too? So I don't get this, that the same people who were, I guess, ancestors, who are ancestors of the conquerors, are now afraid of those people that were conquered living in their land, which, of course, by birth has become their land. The same way you can own property there, they can own property over there. They can live their lives over there. And remember, I pointed out some time ago that when it's Europeans or Americans living in other countries, they're expats. It's the expat community, it's the expatriate community. But when it's people of color living in the UK, living in the US, living in any other place in Europe, they're not expats. What are they? Immigrants. They're immigrants. So if you're European, you're an expat. If you're not European, then you're an immigrant. How does that work? Make that make sense. Make that make sense. I mean, I'm sorry to get so preachy almost 2 hours into this thing, but please make that make sense. How is it I would be considered an expat if I go to another country? But if somebody comes here from south of the border or from the Middle East or Africa, oh, that's an immigrant. They shouldn't be here. They shouldn't be here. What are you doing here? We don't have an immigrant community problem. Get out of here. So yeah, make that make sense to me. Um, it's amazing how stuff changes. The darker the person is, the more everything changes. So that is that story that from yesterday. And so I took a little license with it. There's this version of it, right? And let me see. I'm going to have to look for my reimagined version. But yeah, this was the blaring headline that came from the Daily Fail, used to you know, I guess berate the New York Times, one of the best newspapers ever. And yes, the New York Times, like any other American publication, they have been on the wrong side of the civil rights movement on occasion, and also they have been seen as a bit of a warmonger on occasion. They have some problems of their own. But okay, so my reimagined headline reads like this. Actually, I had to tweak this. I realized yesterday it wasn't right. Why does Britain's smuggest newspaper have such a pathological loathing for America? We dine out on McDonald's. The economy is thriving, surviving, and we're so kind we drove Joan Collins. We drove out Joan Collins. Tom Leonard examines another New York Times howitzer, which I believe a howitzer is in reference to a missile attack. So there you have it. That's my reimagined version of that headline. Oh, thank you, sister. Thank you so much for that. You guys, I'm going to have to end this pretty soon because I have been going on and on and on, and I'm not even sure what I talked about. Let me see. No, Baron, this is all tied together, the Sussex's immigrant status and the expat designation. Of course it is. Yeah. So the way they tied Meghan into this story, I guess I need to explain that before I go on, is that one of the things that bother them about the New York Times is the fact that the New York Times called out people like Boris Johnson for the Brexit. They have called out the tabloid media for being, I have to substitute the word racehorses toward the Sussexes, in particular the Duchess of Sussex. All of the things that the New York Times has called out the British tabloid media about, all those things were enough for this Tom Leonard person to become outraged. He became incandescent with rage, and he decided that he would take on one of the most powerful institutions in all of media, one of the most respected newspapers in the world, the New York Times. Good luck with that, Tom Leonard. Good luck with that one. Just today, from what I'm to understand, just today, Lord Nappyhead's paper has been sued. Tom Leonard is working on behalf of the Daily News. They just got sued again by Prince Harry. How many lawsuits do you need before you realize you're not getting it right? And that this brand of journalism is on its way out, not in. People are sick of it. Do you hear me? Sick of it. Colonizers from the beginning of time crafted words to distinguish themselves from every ethnic group of color. Any bad any bad is black, everything good is white. Devil's food cake, angel's food cake. Cheryl, Cheryl, that is absolutely brilliant. Thank you for that. I could not have put it better. I think that is it. That's it. Um, uh, you have surmised exactly what has been happening and what continues to happen. Thank you for that. Um, Brilliant, brilliant, brilliant. Bravo. And dysfunctional like every human being. Often when I, an 80-year-old black woman, states my personal opinion, what's right, do others have the argumentatively dissect my opinion? Um, in this tabloid world that we live in, and in this very malicious internet world, like I say, I don't use my Twitter a whole lot because I don't want to get in trouble. And it's so easy to take everything out of context and for people to scrutinize your every word. And so I'm very careful about what I choose to share for that reason because I just don't want things taken out of context. So unfortunately, that is the world that we live in, and we just have to be careful. Remember, once it goes out there, it's out there, and then people can misrepresent you without punishment in most cases. Emergency ambulance, first responders are unlike our system. We scoop and run to the hospital. Pamela Porter, are you speaking about Princess Diana's incredible lengthy bit of time in the back of the ambulance where it would move and stop and move and stop? There is a good chance that if she would have been taken directly to the hospital, but if what they're saying about her injury is true and consistent to what happened that night, um, it's not even sure that they could have saved her. But I think for everybody involved, it just would have seemed much better off had they taken her directly to the hospital because it just looked bad in so many different ways. Okay. me see. I know that's right. Um, okay. Okay, Maggie Hall, do me a favor. Next time I'm on the live, please make sure that you can get through because I almost put you in a timeout and or block, and I certainly didn't intend to do that. So, as with another member of the channel, if you can make sure that next time I'm on that you are able to comment because yeah, I I just saw that. But I think you're okay. Matter of fact, comment right now just so I know that you're still with us because I want to make sure I didn't just accidentally block you because that can happen and I certainly didn't mean to do that. So if you can comment again as soon as possible, then I'll know you're okay. Okay, let me see. I just realized that a rose in front. You just noticed that? Yes, it's been there for some time. It's been there for some time. Let's see. I'll go back to it right now if you want, and I'll show you. Uh, there it is. Ladies and gentlemen, the Mormon Tabernacle Choir. There you have it. Okay. Thank you so much for doing that. I just wanted to make sure. All right. Yeah, if anybody cannot get through for some reason, like I guess within a certain period of time, there's always that possibility. And just the other day, someone couldn't get through, and I still don't know why because that person certainly wasn't blocked, but I had to manually insert that person. So okay, okay. Having one of my write and delete moment. Maybe I did not take Diana to get to the hospital because they wanted to make sure she was gone. Yeah, Sonia Johnson, I would hate to believe that there could be a conspiracy that big against anybody that they could be in another country and have something like that happen. So I don't want to believe that that's how it happened. I certainly am not convinced it was an accident, but I don't want to believe that that's how that happened. Um, I mean, because from what one of the accounts that they gave at the hospital, they said that she looked like she was sleeping. They weren't even sure, one of the officials, and it was so morbid. They had this whole parade of high-ranking officials parading in and out of her hospital room as if it was the it party to attend. And some people said that she didn't even look as though she was, you know, gone, let alone, gravely injured. So, um, yeah, I don't want to think about that night right now, though. That's very, very painful. Okay. Um, I think I'm done with those slides. I'm going to take the Mormon Tabernacle Choir away. And yeah, I think I'm done with all my slides. And unlike yesterday, there was only the one slide to get through. So I'm pretty sure I'm finished. So if you have any final comments, everyone, now is the time. And then I wanted to share something with you all before I what do you call it? Before I ginger offender us out of here. As usual, let's give thanks to our faves. And I promise you, I will change these photos soon. Um, the Queen of Hearts, Princess Diana, and the Queen of Everything, Queen Doria. So the Queen of Hearts and the Queen Doria, thank you for making the Sussexes family possible, past, present, and future. Okay. So yeah, I got to everything I wanted to talk about, and that was that. I got one more place to check to make sure that I've covered everything, and then I'm going to share some thoughts that I had with you about this channel yesterday. and then we're going to ginger avenger ourselves out of here. Let me see. Hmm. Okay. Yes, that's that, and that's that. Oh. Well, I mean, that's it's not that important, but I was just going to say, oh yeah, I didn't talk about it, but I did show it. Um, One of the things that I think Kate was trying to do on her trip, as you can see in the center photo, she's splitting wood. I think that one of the educational components of this trip was that she was trying to demonstrate how you can spend thousands of pounds of taxpayers' money to go to another country and demonstrate how people back home can possibly heat their homes the rest of the winter season. Maybe that was the point of it. I'm on the fence. I'm not sure that was her intent. Part of me wants to say, oh, she's too bright to do something like that. But then another part of me says, I don't know. That's still Kate. She's not even sure why she's there. And my last bit of shadiness about this trip is Duchess Jazz Hands, and I noticed it on Twitter that a lot of people are posting images of the Sussexes as a way to show pride in the Sussexes. People like to show images of the Sussexes on various royal tours and duties and stuff, just to remind ourselves and one another that the Duchess of Sussex, as well as usual, the Duke of Sussex, has done an exceptional job, um, as husband and wife, husband and wife as a royal, well, in their capacity as the Duke and Duchess of Sussex. But um, I appreciate that, and it's good to be reminded of that. But my last bit of shadiness is about that subject is no matter what she says or does or where she hangs out when she's traveling, if somebody asks the Duchess of Cambridge a question, it's not going to go well. It has to be a question that is done in muted tones across a table where she can fidget with stuff and do the jazz hands. The other thing is, there will be no public address in this trip to Denmark. I can just tell you, there's not going to be a public address. She's not going to get up in front of a room full of people and address anybody. That's not her strong suit. So there's not going to be any memorable quotes. There's going to be memorable coat dresses. There's going to be memorable gestures like, going down a slide or something like that. But in terms of actual, child development stuff that she's learned and she wants to share, there'll be none of that. I can almost guarantee it. There's not going to be anything. And if she does decide that she wants to get up and address people, nobody, and I do mean nobody, is going to remember what she said. So that was absolutely shady, but it also happens to be absolutely true. There is no there. And there's no need for us to roll out all of these things to make a comparison with the Duchess of Sussex, because you should not compete where you cannot compare, and don't compare where you can't compete. It's just that simple. We don't really have to do it, but we do it just, as a gesture of bonding with one another, but it's not necessary. Yeah, that there's nothing going there's okay, are you guys ready for my big word of the day? Please do a little drum roll with your fingers on your tabletop. Here it goes. There will be nothing substantive as a result of this trip to Copenhagen. No substantive anything. That was my big word of the day. Um, there's not going to be any big moments. The biggest moments are already behind us. This was a big moment. Um, this was a big moment. Those are the big moments. Um, it's behind us. The big moments are behind us. Oh yeah, and these were the big moments. There she is, poised, elegant, and scared crapless. There she is, poised, elegant, and terrified. That's her big moment. So I said what I said. I was being completely petty, but I'm just trying to put it in perspective for you guys. Don't worry about it. Let her have this moment. This is as good as it gets. She may decide to have another Joan Crawford night where she comes out in some glittery gown or something like that. Let her have it. Let her have this moment. She deserves all of this for the sacrifice that she's made on behalf of the Middleton family. She's in a situation that she was ill prepared for, and she was driven into a lifestyle that doesn't suit her. There's so many women in the UK, um, let dare I say the English rose, if you will, that are more suitable for the job. But they didn't want somebody who could think or speak or act. They wanted Kate, and that's what they got. And I'm just going to point that out. Let her have her moment. So, with that being said, um, okay. So I was thinking about something yesterday, and so I thought I better write this down because I guess it didn't come from nowhere. I want to say to you all, I want to thank you for making Royal Sussex um, an incredibly successful Sussex friendly channel. I am so in awe of how fast this channel has grown since April of 2021. I've had to learn a lot fast in order to bring you the content you deserve. It took a lot for someone my age who lacks a certain level of poshness and refinement. It took a lot for me to get here, as well as the experience to work on something as meaningful as this without the necessary tools. So I had to just, I mean, you guys can tell from the way the videos looked in the past, and they're a little more polished now, which is why I still love to edit videos. So um, there's been some breakthroughs, and you guys have been along for that. In the beginning, it seemed impossible, but I did not want to let anybody down, like the night when a couple of people said, "Oh, we noticed you haven't posted anything yet. Are you okay?" That really touched me because I felt like I was making a difference. And I'm like, if it's that important to them, then surely it should be that important to me. So I decided, okay, I'm going to make sure that I, do my daily uploads whenever, wherever, whatever. You all trusted me and believed in me, and that's not well, actually, that was all the motivation that I needed, is that you all trusted me and you believed in me. And from that I decided I needed to keep going. I offered you my honesty and sincerity, and in return I received more love and support than I could have ever expected. And I am so grateful to have this platform, and I thank you all for supporting Royal Sussex. So yeah, that's what I wanted to share with you guys. I decided I wanted to write that down before before it just kind of evaporated. So yeah, that's what I wanted to share with you guys because you guys have put a lot of trust in me, and I appreciate it. I'm very thankful for it, and I love you all for it. So, anyway, with that being said, who wants the last thought of the day? And then we're going to Ginger Avenger ourselves out of here because it has been 2 hours and 12 minutes, and I don't know where the time has gone. Oh, well, thank you. Thank you. Thank you for that. Thank you. What's that? Okay, thank you for that. Bedtime here in oh, you're in Denmark, Sorensen. That sounds very Danish. I'm waiting for the Ginger Avenger, but I guess not. Have a good night, everyone. Um, it's coming up very soon. We're just looking for our last thought. Thank you so much for the super sticker. And happy Wednesday to you. Yeah, and if you guys got to go, it has been a long time, and I'm sure it's late in other parts of the world. So Late as usual from us. Okay, well, thank you. Thank you for that. Raven, I didn't know you were on here. Yeah. Okay. So I'm looking for my final thought. Let me highlight that first. And then I'm looking for my final thought. Aw, thank you, Sonia Johnson. Thank you. Yeah. I honestly I didn't expect any of this. I nothing could have prepared me for this. 4.4 million views. Now I'm like almost at 4.5 million views. I couldn't have Sonia, I'm sorry, Yvonne Clark. Thank you so much for that. I'm sorry. Thank you, Yvonne Clark. Thank you for your constant support. I appreciate it. All right. I think this is it. Bye, all. Have a great day, Royal Sussex and Squatties. Okay, I'm into that. Thank you so much, Denise Jones. Okay, so you guys, Denise Jones is going to have the last thought of the day. Thank you again for the super sticker, Yvonne and Etney Green. Thank you. And okay, so that's our final thought of the day. And let me Ginger venture out of here. Okay, love y'all. See you all next time.